What is up, everybody? We are fresh off of the All-Star break, and you know what? We're already having a bad day. I already took a quick loss to Houston today in the first game of the doubleheader. We do have the second game coming up, so hopefully we'll be able to push across more than 2 runs. But here we are. We missed last week. Had some personal things going on, but we're back, and hopefully we don't miss any more time. But let's just get right into it. Let's talk about today's game real quick. The Yankees go down 3-2, took them to the bottom of the ninth. IKF was able to tie up the game in the top of the ninth, but Michael King ended up giving it up at the end of the game. But overall, good game. Hopefully, we could score more than 2 runs tonight. We do have the lineup ready for you guys. It's going to be at the bottom of the screen for you. So yeah, Tommy, did you get a chance to catch today's game?
Actually, I did. I took a lunch break with work at TJF Fridays, and I totally forgot it was a day game. I forgot, so I actually caught the game, and I caught most of it. Um, Man, all I got to say is the you want to call me a Yankee fan for saying this, go ahead. But the only team I think stopping us from getting it all done is the Houston Astros. I don't want to hear about any other team in the American League. I don't want to hear about any team in the NL. I'm
Oh
not
no,
scared of
yeah,
the Dodgers. I'm not scared of the Mets. I'm not scared of the Braves. If we make it past Houston, I think we can win it all. But Houston, man, just we match up so well with them, and they match up so well with us. And it's just they give us hell every time we play them, and it's gonna be brutal, man. It's gonna be a dogfight uh, to get past them and to make it to the World Series. That's all I really have to say. They have our number more than we have theirs, so it's gonna be really tough. But I think we can get it done, and I hope we do. But they're the only team I think stopping us from winning it all. That's how a World Series is beaten Houston, if you ask me.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. If there's gonna be one, I completely agree with you. If there's gonna be one team to stop us in the American League, it's gonna be Houston. They just have our number, like you said. Like we cannot beat this team. They could outscore us, they could outpitch us. It's annoying.
There's no doubt they're the
Um,
biggest threat to the Yankees in both divisions, American League and National League. That's my opinion.
you think there's nobody in the national, not the Dodgers, not a San Diego team when they get Tatis back.
I think the Yankees or the Astros win the World Series, and I don't think it's really close, honestly.
Okay, okay. Another team that I forgot to mention. What about the other team in New York, the Mets? They're gonna get DeGrom back, Scherzer back, like that. Like it or not, I am the most anti-Mets person here, and I do not want to see Scherzer, DeGrom, Bassett, and Taiwan Walker in 4 straight games.
Oh, I get it, but listen, can you really? And I don't want to hear no one say, "Don't count Degrom out yet." Just has soreness after throwing again the other day. You can't put him in the rotation until he's in the rotation. Okay, I don't want to hear about the what ifs. I weigh 240 pounds, Chris. Oh, but what if Tommy lost 40 pounds? He'd be 200. Well, I'm not, guys. Okay, I'm 240. Let's call it what it is. DeGrom's hurt. He's not in the rotation yet. If he's in the rotation, that's a different story. Right now, you can't count him in until he's in there. And I don't want to face him in Scherzer. But right now, it's looking like you only have to face Scherzer. And Bassett, whatever. Taiwan Walker, whatever. Come on, let's be realistic. If it's DeGrom and Scherzer, it's a different story. We can't sing that tune until he's ready to play.
No, no, no. I completely understand. I doubt he will be out the full year, but again, to your point, who's to say that even if he's in the rotation, who knows if he's going to be fully healthy, if he's going to be like the DeGrom that we saw 2 years ago. So I can agree with that. But you know, let's get into it. The first half of the season, the Yankees are the best team in baseball, and the record says it, the numbers say it. We've said it week after week after week. I'm getting tired of saying it. I'm lying. I can never tire of saying that the Yankees are the best team in baseball. But when you look at the numbers, Yankees are right now, they have the best record in baseball at 64-29. They have the best run differential in baseball, plus 199. They have the best runs per game in baseball at 5.4. Only allowing 3.2 runs, most home runs in baseball, best OPS, best war. Like, what we've talked, another thing we've talked about all season is trades. What can this Yankees team do that could possibly make them better other than the arms and the outfield. Like that's
Well,
really all we need.
I think that's honestly where I think that's the only spot that we do need it. Like we always talk about in our group chat, right? Ray's been saying this for a very long time. Shout out to Smosh, you're the man,
Won't let
Ray.
us hear the end of it.
We love you, buddy, but you are 100% accurate. Yankees need arms, arms, arms. That's what Ray's been saying. And some of us were like, we're all right. But the more and more you look at it, they need arms. Okay. And that's where it comes down to get some arms, whether it's starting or relief help. Let's get Castillo. Let's make a run at him. Maybe let's get Soto. Not your boy, Chris. Not your boy, Chris.
Listen. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that.
We'll get into the other Soto next, but let's get some arms. Let's get some bullpen help, right? Because in the playoffs, that's what you're gonna need. Good rotation, good guys coming out of the pen that fire, that get guys out, and that's what we need more than anything. We don't need no bats. We need arms, and that's it. Nothing else.
All right, I can definitely agree with that. There, like this, like all the stats I brought up, this team really doesn't have a lot of holes in it. Like even if we don't improve at all, we're still the best team in baseball in a lot of regards.
Yes.
So it may be like asking you to come up with something to make this team better might be an impossible task, as it seems. Because there's to the point where there was a point I mentioned a couple weeks ago. Teams may just not want to trade with the Yankees just because they are so good.
And realize this: there's a lot of things that will prevent the Yankees from doing a blockbuster trade, right? We don't want to give up our prospects. We all know that unless it's going to get us a superstar. I don't think the Yankees need a superstar arm. One arm that was always been talked about, and we talked about this last year and this year, was David Robinson. That's not going to cost you a Peraza or a Volpe, right? Or a Jason Dominguez, okay? So maybe look at a guy like that. That guy Soto from Detroit won't cost you that much. So it don't going to be a huge move, but it's going to be something that could definitely be beneficiary to us. And I think that if we're going to move the big prospects, we know who it's going to go for. And that's something that we'll talk about later. But arms is what we need. I know that I'm the trade of the week guy, but I really don't know because I don't know who to give up to get what we need. So it's tough, but it's definitely arms.
All right. No, for sure. All right. So let's move on real quick. Let's talk about what happened most recently before today's game. The All-Star game. 6 Yankees made it. We had Holmes, Cole, Nestor, Trevino, Judge, and who was the 6th man? I'm blanking right now. Who was it?
Stanton,
it wasn't him.
No, Stanton and Judge is 2. Cole and Trevino's 3, 4, Holmes, and then Nestor.
Okay. Right, so yeah. But one of our guys did end up walking away with the MVP trophy, and his name is Giancarlo Stanton. And you got to think, this is a guy that got, he wasn't the most beloved player on this team for a couple of years. And now over the last, I'd say, season and a half, he's really just come around and become the player that was advertised.
I agree. His first couple of years here, people were like, oh my God, he traded for this guy. He sucks. He's a boom or bust, big bat or nothing. But let me tell you what he's been doing for us since you said about last year. The guy was phenomenal for us last year, and especially in the postseason, the one game, whatever. But he's been solid, man. This guy is really, really good. He still plays the outfield good enough to be out there. You could tell that when he's in the field, he hits better. He's more into the game. He prefers that, and he plays a good enough outfield to where he's not going to cost you games. So you need him. He's a great player. The guy still smashes when he hits the ball, and you could tell it meant a lot to him to win that MVP award yesterday, or 2 days ago, I should say.
No, yeah, it really did. It was a good game for what it was. All-star games in sports, I would say baseball probably has the most stakes behind it because, the All-Star game in the Pro Bowl is really two-hand touch at this point. They've taken all the fun out of football in the Pro Bowl. And then you have the All-Star game where you got guys just not playing defense, just kind of just letting everybody go off, everybody showing and show out. In baseball, there's something on the line. And Giancarlo Stanton, with the way the Yankees look right now, he might have secured home field advantage for the Yankees come October
Yeah,
with his
that's why the
performance
All-Star
the
game
other day.
baseball, like you said, means more than other sports. Listen, football, you don't want to be out there tearing ACL, right? If you cut the wrong way, you're out. I mean, baseball, it's a lot harder to get hurt than it is in football. So the All-Star game, and it also means something. So like you said, it was a big win for the AL, which continues to dominate over the National League. And it also meant a lot to him as well.
Yeah, well,
Sorry,
what?
I'm
No,
dropping
not
my
a
phone.
problem. What is it? What ninth straight year we've won it? What was it? Was
I
that the
thought
stat?
I thought it might have been. I thought it eclipsed double digits, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, like the American League has just been outstanding the last couple, like really over the last decade. Because I'm trying to think back, like when was like there was probably like Tim Lincecum, Roy Halladay on those National League rosters.
I
Like,
saw a stat yesterday that said that Derek Jeter and somebody else was like, I forgot the exact stat, man. I should have screenshot it when I was there doing it, but when I saw it on ESPN when they put the stat up, it was just something crazy. Like this guy was still playing in baseball, and this guy was like the. I wish I would have saw it, but it was pretty special. The AL owns the NL, and it's pretty evident with I think 9 or 10 years in a row now we won it. But like I said, it means something. Playing in the Bronx, if we can make it, and having the 4 games there would be huge.
oh no, for sure, especially against the what would be the pride of the National League. But we're talking about players playing well. How about a guy that wasn't even signed, like a couple months into the season? Matt Carpenter has provided a spark for this team where guys like Gallo and if at the time IKF or Donaldson was struggling, they've just slotted in Matt Carpenter and he's just done amazing for what everybody thought he was at the beginning of the season, where he was down in Texas AAA team.
It's I don't even know what to say. The guy's my age, and yet he's out there playing a good outfield and hitting home runs. It's just out of control. A guy, like you said, that wasn't even who thought his career was over. The guy hit 38 home runs in Houston in 2000 and what? Houston, I'm sorry, but the Cardinals 2019, right? 38 home runs, I believe he hit. And all of a sudden, he's like he said, he fell off the face of the earth. He didn't know what was going on. Then all of a sudden, injuries here and there, and the guy didn't play. And then all of a sudden, now he's getting called up, and the guy saved us a lot of the time. So, and it's good because it takes away bats from Gallo, who's struggling. And I don't know where it would be without Carpenter, to be honest with you. I think he's second biggest guy on our team, right behind Judge, which I know sounds really crazy, but if you think
Oh,
about it, it's
we'll
not.
we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. I got my top 10 of the half season coming up later,
All
and
right.
but yeah, Matt Carpenter has just he's been a utility guy this late in his career, and I think that's kind of crazy. We've had him in left field, we've had him in right field, third base, first base. Did he play? I feel like he played a game at shortstop one time because Glaber got hurt. Like Carpenter's been one of the shining lights of this team, as you said, and it's incredible to think that this guy wasn't on a team 2 months into the year, and now
Yep.
he's leading the league in like RBIs per at bat, or like at bats before an RBI, and it's a pretty big gap between him and Jose Ramirez. And to think that Matt Carpenter and Jose Ramirez are in the same sentence in 2022 is just weird to say. He's just
Yeah.
been the
Listen,
perfect left bat that the Yankees have always kind of searched for.
Yankees took a flyer on a guy, and they got it right. This happens all the time. You take a flyer on somebody who's older in their career, and it doesn't usually work out. But I'm glad it's working out with this guy because he's been really, really big for us.
No, you're 100% right. He's coming off this Player of the Week where he had 4 home runs and 14 RBIs, right before the All-Star break, and he's playing in both games of the doubleheader today. He played the first game, and then he's going to be, I believe he was at third in game one, and he's playing first today, or tonight rather, in the
Nice.
lineup. Speaking of tonight, the return of Domingo Armand. He has not been seen on the major league level since. Did he play last year? I feel like I haven't seen him since 2020.
I honestly, you know what? I should probably know this answer, but I really don't know if he pitched last year. I don't know when he got hurt. I think he might have pitched a little bit in the beginning, but I really don't know.
There was the injury, and then there was also the domestic the domestic violence thing that he got into, where I believe he was suspended. But right
Yes,
now,
it was a suspension.
yeah. So Domingo is back up on the team. He's going to be pitching. He's going to be starting game 2 tonight. What do you think we're gonna see out of somebody like him? I'm not sure if you watched too many AAA games. He did have 5 performances down in the minors before being called up, and he pitched pretty well, only allowing 1 run. But what do you think he's going to be doing against a team that is as vaunted as the Houston Astros?
I mean, this is like, I think it's a bad time to have him start. To be really honest with you, throw him right in the fire against Houston. Right? Not big on that. I know you got to get the guy back and get him some innings, but I think it's like an opening. It's an opening. What they call it, an opener, right? You come in for
Mhm.
2 or 3 innings, and that's it. Clearly, that's what he's going to do. His arm strength ain't higher than that. But a tough opponent to go against, right? Like 2 weeks ago, we put back in Loizaga in a tough spot, and he gave it up. I
Mhm.
wouldn't pick this spot personally, but you got to get him innings. So I get what they're doing, but I wouldn't have chose Houston, to be honest with you.
No. It's I don't know why they were bringing him back. I thought maybe we'd go with like a bullpen game because we got Baltimore, and Baltimore has been, they have been surprisingly good with the players that they have. But when you're going against Houston and then you're going against Baltimore, I would probably have slotted him in against the lesser team in Baltimore, throwing him into the fire, like you said. But from what he was, Domingo Armand was a very, very good player. He was a solid pitcher. He's a solid 3-4 guy in your rotation. And I think if he can, at least by end of the season, come back and become something like that, where you don't have to pitch Tyon every 5 days, you can give him an extra day. You don't have to pitch Severino, hopefully, when he comes back. Um, so yeah, I think this is going to be a really good series um I'm talking about the Baltimore series, of course, for us when we got Tyon and Cole. But tonight we do have Vermont on the mound. Hopefully he pitches well. Hopefully he captures that spark from a couple of years ago and become the guy that we kind of need right now. Because as you and Ray have both said, we need arms. We need arms desperately right now. Not that the arms we have are bad. It's just we don't want to overwork them to the point where they do become bad. All right, I think I've held off on this long enough. Um, it's time to talk about Juan Soto, right? Right. I was laughed at. I was ridiculed by both of you but by both you and Joe and Ray and everybody in the group. No way Juan Soto comes to the Yankees, right? Like that's just not gonna happen. But it might happen, guys. Juan Soto might be a Yankee. We have the pieces. When we think about it, also Tommy, I can't hear you right. You're like muted. Um, when it comes to it, when it comes to trade packages, there are not a lot of teams that could match what the Yankees could throw on the table, right? Juan Soto is, of course, one of the best players in baseball. He might be top 5. He's definitely top 10. And he's only 23 years old. He's a guy that's going to be under team control for a couple of years. Tommy, what is stopping us from going out and at least putting up the best package we can for him? No, you're still muted. I guess I'll talk about it. When I brought this package up, I think a couple of days ago, where you had, you could create a package of, let's see, you could create a package of, Higashioka. I was talking about this package for Andrew Benintendi, when we were like, oh, we need an outfielder, we need this, we need that. Um,
Sorry, can you hear me, buddy?
yeah. There we go. Let me
Guys,
just let me.
I sincerely apologize. My daughter FaceTime called me twice. I hit decline twice, but it must have got me off to where you couldn't hear me. I do apologize. I heard your question. Um, I honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't want to trade for Soto. I know I might be in the minority.
Elaborate.
Um,
Elaborate.
I'm going to right now because I actually went and had. I was with one of my good friends today, and we were speaking about this, and it's gonna just so you guys know who it's gonna cost us. Let me rattle off the names we have to give up, and then let's hear if fans still want to do this. Goodbye, Gleyber Torres. Goodbye, Jason Dominguez. Goodbye, Peraza. Goodbye, Volpe. I'm just saying that right there alone, that's a lot. Now, listen, prospects are prospects at the end of the day. I get that. I am big to say that prospects are prospects. The only prospect that we had in the last 8 to 10 years that really worked out has been Judge. Sanchez prospect didn't really work out. Torres came from the Cubs. He doesn't count. So Judge is the only one
He
that
was
worked
still
out.
at one point the Yankees' #1 prospect in 2017 and 2018.
Who
Torres.
was?
Torres.
Who, Gleyber?
Yeah, he was the #1 prospect in 2017 and 2018 for the Yankees because he came in that deal with
Yeah, I
with
meant like
Chapman in
I meant like
2017.
homegrown.
All right,
That's
fine.
what I
could
think.
fine.
That's what I meant by homegrown. Peraza, Volpe's homegrown. Davey Garcia, Estevan Florial, all those guys. Dude, Davey Garcia supposed to be an amazing pitcher, can't miss. Guys has sniffed the majors since 2019. Okay, this is my point. So they're just prospects, but at the end of the day, I can't give up Gleyber and all those other guys for Soto. Now, I heard that if the Yankees make a deal for Soto or be those guys, they would try to sign Judge and keep Soto. Imagine that. So that would be pretty sick. Soto's under control Soto's under control for 3 more years. So I get why trading for him would be ideal. But I don't know if this Yankee brass would want to sign Judge and then know they're going to sign Soto in 3 years. They're not throwing the money around like the father used to. So I don't know what's going to happen. Juan Soto to me is a generational type player. He's definitely top 5. You got Trout. You got him. Other players as well. Man, I don't know, man. I'm so torn, man. Like
you could probably throw Judge, Ohtani, J-Ram, and DeGrom in the rest of that top 5.
Yeah, I don't throw Ohtani in there, man. Actually, I know that's a separate conversation I have. I had it with a lot of my buddies. I'm not an Ohtani guy. Sorry. My boy Angelo, me and him feel the same way about Ohtani. But yeah, I mean, Soto's great. Soto's great, man, but I don't want to give up 4 or 5 guys for him. So that's where I stand on it. I know your answer already, buddy. You would drive those guys to the airport if you could tomorrow.
Tell me. Just look at it.
I know, man.
It's beautiful. It's my favorite picture ever. Listen, if the rumors that you're saying end up true, and if we somehow, some way get Juan Soto and keep Aaron Judge on this team, you would not hear the end of it from me. Because that is a center fielder and right fielder, which was already the Yankees' need, which was another corner outfielder. And we'll have 2 of the top 5 hitters in baseball. Someone who walks more than he strikes out by a lot. 2 power guys, a lefty. Juan Soto is built for Yankee Stadium. He's only 23 years old and has a couple of years of team control. I am willing to bet the future on him because he is the future.
That's why when people say the other side of the argument, I also agree too. Like the guy who cut my hair today was like, dude, Peraza and those guys are 22. You understand that Soto's 23?
Soto's super young.
I know. I don't know, man. I'm torn, man. I mean, man, I don't know. I guess
we would probably have to take on Patrick Corbin's bad contract, which fine, because we also needed another arm. Because if Patrick Corbin can throw an inning or 2, might as well. Fuck it, put him in the pen. But I feel like this is the guy that, like I said, is built for Yankee Stadium. And if we have the best package for him, if we put together a package, maybe Gallo has lost some of his luster. But a lot of people do attribute that to just being the New York lights being too hot for him, being too bright for Joey Gallo. Joey Gallo is still under 30 and is still a very dangerous guy in the batter's box outside of Yankee Stadium, probably. You got guys like Higashioka. We have the catching prospects. All the prospects you mentioned, you didn't mention Austin Wells. He's going to be MLB ready by 2024. So if we can keep somebody like Trevino as an everyday guy, as a stopgap guy, well, there you go. Ben Horvat is another guy that's down there in in AAA when he comes back from injury. We probably wouldn't have to give him up. Our only hole at the end of the year, if we can somehow put this trade together, would be at shortstop because ICAF was supposed to be the stopgap for Volpe, and we would probably have to give that up. But maybe we have 3 of our top 10 prospects are shortstops. We could trade 2 of them and still end up with a pretty damn good young shortstop.
Yeah. I just don't know if this Steinbrenner ownership with the Suns taking over would even do something like that. They showed you that they're not. They showed you that they're not.
Well, they showed that they're not willing to pay Judge right now. That's what they showed.
Yeah.
At the end of the season, everybody thinks they're going to pay him. And then we're going to pay a second Aaron Judge in 3-4 years. Because that's when you're getting to the end of the contracts of guys like Hicks, guys like Stanton, guys like even LeMahieu, who signed a 6-year deal. By the time we need to pay Juan Soto, some of those guys are going to be coming off the books.
Yeah,
Josh Donaldson will be off the team. His fucking $30 million not going to be there that we got to pay. So the way and again, when it comes to trade packages, not a lot of teams can match the Yankees. Somehow the Dodgers are going to end up with 40 prospects and then they might get them. God damn, please don't let the Dodgers get Juan Soto.
I think he's a Dodger.
All right. I don't even believe you believe that. There's no way he makes it to the Dodgers. That who would the Dodgers put together in that package? They have the players, of course. They're the Dodgers, but who would they move in that scenario? Bellinger?
They would try to move Cody Bellinger.
Bellinger, what? Yep. Gavin Lux? Bellinger. Justin Turner?
Yeah, I don't know if they have the pieces to do it, but you can never count the Dodgers out.
Max Muncy, because his position's been taken over by Freddie Freeman anyway?
Yeah, I'm not sure what can get it done for the Dodgers, but you always got to put them in the conversation, you know?
No, they were reported as one of the 7 teams that have already given preliminary offers, along with the Mariners.
How do you think this makes? I know we're going to talk about Judge later, but how do you think this is sort of related? How do you think this makes Aaron Judge feel that you want to trade for a guy that they're going to have to go ahead and lock up in 3 years, but yet they don't want to pay you the money?
Well, here's the thing. That could very well be, hey, Judge, you didn't sign the dotted line. We might have to look for a future without you. And that's the position that you put us in. So that argument can be seen on both sides where it's like, oh, you don't have faith. Judge could be like, oh, you don't have faith in me. You're already looking for my replacement. They could be like, we tried not everything, but we tried pretty damn hard to keep you here with us. And you turned down a lot of money and a lot of years thinking that you're worth more than what we think you are.
Listen, so if the Yankees have the money, man, it's whether they want to do it or not. It's not in question on whether they can't afford him, Judge. It's whether or not they want to do the extra year.
So, of course not.
If I'm the Yankees, dude, if I could trade for Soto and then still sign Judge to an 8-year big deal, I'm doing it. Imagine Judge and Soto in the same lineup.
Stanton would also still be in the lineup at the time too.
That'd be nuts, dude. I don't even know, man. It's like you're just like, I don't even know. It almost seems like it can't be real, right?
It can be though.
It really can.
It can be.
Like, I know, but I'm torn, man, on what I would want to happen. You know, I really am.
No, I get it, but again, I just want to point out at the beginning of the season, I was laughed at when I proposed we get Juan Soto, and the 0% chance that you told me I had then, we're up to 2%. It's a possibility now.
Did I really say 0?
You, Joe, Ray, all of you came at me and like, oh, there's no Chris. Stop dreaming, pipe dream. What are you smoking? Like, I was getting ridiculed. I was getting bashed.
First of all, this is the Yankees getting him is higher than 2%.
No. Yeah. Oh, of course.
So it went from like 0 to like 20%.
I'll take that. I'll take 20%, but 20% is not a lot when it comes to baseball because, of course, there are just a lot of moving pieces. Why don't we move on to some somewhat more realistic trades? We have the guys that we've been talking about all year that we've wanted, guys like Luis Castillo, Ian Happ over in Chicago. Benintendi, who may be now off the table because of his vaccination status, him not being allowed to play in Toronto. So he may be off the table for us. And along with David Robertson getting trade rumors out in Chicago, what would be the first move? Because of course we would take all of them, but what would be the first move for you?
Castillo from the Reds.
Castillo? Okay.
That's the number one move for me. You slot him directly behind Cole.
Okay.
Because right now, Severino's not throwing for 2 to 3 weeks. Let's call it what it is. We don't know what's going to happen after that, okay?
Miguel Castro's also out for 4.
Yeah, so Castro's out. But I think Castillo's the move. You bring back Armand. Obviously, he's pitching tonight. You put him in the pen. And then you let Castillo pitch right in behind Cole, right in front of Nestor, and right in front of Monty. I'll take those 4 guys in the playoffs as my pitchers.
Well, that is the short term thing. Like that's going to be Severino most likely will be back before the playoffs. So that's a good 5 man. If you could add Severino either before or after Castillo, depending on how he pitches in that meantime. But what kind of package would you put together for Castillo right now?
Well, I'll tell you what. If you put a package together for Castillo, you could kiss goodbye your dreams for Soto.
Oh no! I recognize that. Obviously.
If we trade, no, not just you. I'm saying fans in general, right? You can't trade for both. Yeah. I would like to hold on to Volpe. I would send Peraza and a couple other good young arms from the Yankees to the Reds in that deal. I would keep Dominguez and I would keep Volpe. Oh, I don't think Castillo's worth those guys.
No, I wouldn't.
You're not picking up like Cy Young here. You're getting a good pitcher.
You're not getting a good pitcher on a down year too, because Castillo has not pitched the best this year.
But he showed you what he can still do though against us.
No, absolutely. Like he showed out. That was a good audition in front of the Yankee faithful.
So that's the move. That's the move right there. Bullpen arms. You can always bring up somebody like I think Clark Schmidt is still an unbelievable bullpen arm. Armand will be good out of the pen. But Castillo, man, if there's one move I think they should make besides Soto, which I don't still whatever about, I think it's definitely Castillo, hands down.
All right. I brought it up earlier just in passing, but for somebody like a David Robertson, how much do you think a price tag that he has? Like apparently the Mets are involved, are in talks to get him. But how high do you think the price tag is for someone like David Robertson to get him back in pinstripes?
Not that high at all. You're talking about a guy who's had arm injuries, who came back still pretty good, but a guy that's old in the tooth a little bit, right? I don't think it would take that much to get him at all. I think maybe taking on his deal and maybe one or 2 okay prospects will get it done. Cubs aren't going to ask for a lot for him.
Right. Okay, that's fair. Now, final scenario, at least when it comes to Robertson, how high do you think the price would be for a Happ and Robertson package to bring Ian Happ over to the Yankees as well, to fill that outfield need and to give another arm in the pen that we know has thrived in pinstripes before?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I really don't know too much about Ian Happ to honestly really say. I don't really, I know he can play the outfield and he's a good lefty bat. I really don't know too much about him to really give a huge assessment. But like I said, I think all those top guys are definitely out of the conversation. No Volpe, no Peraza, no Dominguez. I would give them 2 or 3 good prospects. Nothing crazy. I don't know much about Ian Happ. Like, do you know more about him than I do, bud? Because I don't really know.
He's not a big home run hitter. He's hitting around 275 this year, but this is his career year so far. He's hitting the best he ever has, and he is a very good defender out there in the corners. But like I said, I'm a guy that has touted Benintendi all year, but with his vaccination status costing games in Toronto, I'm not that sure.
I don't care about that, to be honest with you. I don't care about that vaccination status. If you want Benintendi, I think you should do it. I don't care about the vaccination status. Not the vaccination part of it. I don't want to get to that. I meant Toronto not allowing him to play. I don't think it's a big deal. Wow, so you missed the guy for 3 games in Toronto? Who cares?
3 games in Toronto for what would be for 3 games in Toronto for what would be a playoff series against a very tough team, and he would be your regular left field. Who do you bring up? Andujar? You put Andujar in that spot?
No
Like
one.
who? You'd go Gallo and right. All right, Gallo and right, Judge in center, and I guess Stanton in left. Or you could put. I mean, it depends on where Tim LaCastro is. If Tim LaCastro is going to be available for that, because he's been on and off the team with injuries. But I could definitely see, Benintendi, because he's another good left-handed bat, corner outfielder, a guy that hits for average and could probably thrive hitting balls over in that short porch and right field when it comes to Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it comes to trades, we're approaching this August 2nd deadline. There again aren't a lot of moves for us to make to even further solidify that we're the best team in the league. And at the end of the day, even if we don't make any moves and Cashman and the Steinbrenner just sit on their hands and not make a move, we are probably still going to be the best team in the AL East, maybe even the best team in the AL record wise. So there's really not a lot of room for improvement, and sometimes that's a good thing.
Yeah. I told
Tommy, you're cutting out, and I also can't see you. You got no video. All right. Well, while Tommy gets that fixed up, I'm gonna talk about what Judge said over the All Star break. Uh, some of it was about Soto. He was asked about would he like Juan Soto on the team, and of course he would. Like, who wouldn't want Juan Soto on the team? Um, he's one of the best players in baseball. But he also did have an on field interview right before the All Star game where he was talking about J Rod's performance, watching Albert Pujols, and then again watching Juan Soto win the home run derby the night prior. But he seemed very non-committal for his future in the Bronx. He was not answering straight. I would say is the best way to phrase it. When asked, somebody brought up, a kid, and he was like, "Oh, Aaron Judge is his favorite player, and he loves watching you and in a Yankees uniform. What do you think? What are the chances that you're going to sign long term?" And he was just like, "You know what? This Yankees team has a lot of great players, and hopefully he becomes a Judge fan wherever he goes." And that sounded pretty not great. That is somebody that sounds like he's already got one foot out of the door. And I honestly wouldn't blame him, as we just spoke about recently. With the Yankees looking at Soto, Judge could be like, "Hey, you're already looking for my replacement." Of course, we would want to keep both of them, but at the end of the day, who knows exactly what is going through Aaron Judge's mind, because he has already turned down a lot of money in the past, and people are looking for his replacement. So he seemed really non-committal when it came to that interview over the All-Star break. Tommy, welcome back.
Sorry, man. My phone. I apologize. Listen, those comments made by Judge, I'm telling you, they were nothing more than alarming. Judge has been amazing in interviews, right, guys? For not getting a deal done. Oh, whatever. He always very, very, very like plays cool about it. But she asked him on the spot that this little kid Brendan was like, "Oh, you see yourself being a Yankee?" And he was like, "Oh, well, the Yankees. We have a lot of great Yankees on this team, and I hope you're a fan for life, Brandon." To me, that literally sounds like, "Hey, man, I'm not coming back, but I hope you still like me in 2 years when I'm in San Fran." That's what it sounds like to me, dude, 100%.
Yeah,
And my buddy, one of my close friends who cuts my hair, is a big Mets fan. He told me that's exactly what he thinks as well. You want to hear a good answer? That's a good answer for a Yankee fan to hear. You ready? This is the answer. Oh, We didn't get it done in the off season, but hopefully after the season's done, we can get a deal done. That sounds like a guy who wants to be back, doesn't it, Chris? Not the other comment.
It does. It does. He has in previous interviews stated that if they could get a deal done before the end of the season, that would be good. But you're right. He doesn't seem like he's 100% in, or at least to the point where we could pretty much say it's a guarantee he's going to sign back with
And like I said earlier, him hearing us trading or thinking about trading for Soto rumors has to be affecting what he said on that interview 2 days ago as well.
No, yeah, of course.
This guy's up. He's up for a contract extension in 3 years. Sounds like you'll rather pay him than pay me. That sounds like to me. That's what he's thinking. I guarantee it. I'm telling you, man. I love Judge. Listen, Yankee fans, listen to me. He's gonna be gone. Sorry, he's gone. I'm a realist. You heard it first.
You're saying you're saying he's done. He's officially gone. That's what you think.
I'm telling you right now, Aaron Judge will be either a Padre, a Dodger, or a San Francisco Giant next year.
One
West
name
Coast team, no doubt about it.
One
and
name that
team is
I've heard. One name that I've heard was Seattle, because they have the money, they have the West Coast pop, and they're a team that's kind of been looking for that face of the franchise type player since Ichiro left. Now they do have J-Rod, and he's the homegrown talent guy. But if Seattle is one thing, it's known for wasting their homegrown talent. So why not go out and get that guy?
I don't think Seattle's a player.
No. I think the teams you mentioned. I think
Seattle's a player. Judge is a California kid.
Yeah, I think the California teams do have the best chance, but I have heard Seattle's name floated around there.
I'm telling you, and the fourth team is the Mets. The fourth team is the Mets. You think Steve Cohen won't give that guy 2 extra years at $60 million to get him on that team? I know, Chris, that will eat you, bro. That will eat you alive. But I'm telling you right now, that's a real possibility.
I can't see it.
You don't think Steve Cohen will want to stick it to the Yankees and sign Judge for 2 more? Oh, yeah, ready? Yankees deal, 8 years, $350. Big Daddy Cohen says, I'll give you 10, $375. Telling you, dude, Judge is going to go to the biggest contract. I'm telling you, man, that's what he's doing. I promise you that. I don't even want to say the Mets, dude. It makes me almost want to go.
It makes me sick to think about it. No, I refuse. Until I see him in orange, I am not going to believe he's a Met. It's just not going to happen.
You might as well get the vomit bucket ready.
Speaking of, we do have a Met series coming up, but first we got to get through tonight. We got to get through 3 games in Baltimore. Then we got 2 in Queens, I believe. I believe the series is in Queens. Games, and then we got 4 in Kansas City. Where do you think we're gonna go after that? What do you think the record's gonna be after that? That 5-game stretch, and we can count tonight as well. So 10 games.
I say he's go up against those teams. I say, listen, we've been scuffling, so I say 6-4.
6-4. Okay. You think we lose a game to Kansas City? Or you think we sweep that?
I mean,
it's a 4-game series in the Bronx against Kansas City.
So it's 4 against KC, 2 against the Mets, 3 against Baltimore, and the game tonight. Are you counting tonight's game, right?
Yeah, I'm counting tonight's game in Houston.
I think we lose tonight. I'll be honest with you. With Domingo, Armand getting the start, I think we lose tonight. I think we take 3 out of 4 from Baltimore. I think we
only got 3 against Baltimore.
1 against. Oh, I'm sorry, 3 against Baltimore. Say we go 2-1 against Baltimore. That puts us at 2-2. I think we win. We split with the Mets. It's 3-3, and then I think we're gonna go 3 out of 4 against KC. That puts us 6-4.
All right. I could definitely see.
Listen,
that,
we're not the team. We're not the team from 6 weeks ago. We're scuffling a little bit. So we're scuffling slightly. So I don't know if we're gonna have that amazing, that 11-4 stretch or 12-4 stretch that we went back in the day. Like we did last time, where it was like 10-6, 11-5, 12-4. I don't think we do that. I think we go. I'm on my podcast. Why wasn't answering? I think we go 12. I think we go 6-4, and that's not bad because we are scuffling, right? I don't think we're that dominant team that we were ago. We're not. Look at everything. Even though we have the best numbers and statistically wise, we're not that same team. The league went from 15.5 down to 12.5, so we lost 3 games on the lead. We're still a very good team, but I don't think we're as dominant as we were a month ago. So I think 6-4 is a good stretch. We're playing a decent, good Mets team. Baltimore, who's on fire, and then KC, is whatever.
No, yeah. KC is definitely going to be the easiest series there. I want to know what the rotation, what pitchers are going to be throwing out for that Mets series. You got to think Cole isn't going to pitch because he's pitching Game 2 against Baltimore, and with the injuries to Severino and Tyon pitching Game 1 in Baltimore, maybe Monty and Nestor for those 2 games. But yeah, I just want to see how the pitching matchups end up in Queens. Because again, I don't. That is just a scary team to match up with pitchers wise.
Well, yeah, I mean, if the ground can be there, it's probably
even without DeGrom, Carrasco has been serviceable. You got
Cookie's been good,
and then again you got Taijuan Walker, Bassett's back, and Scherzer's still looking like he's back in Detroit.
That's what Scherzer's doing is insane.
Yeah, between Scherzer and Verlander, it's insane to think that Detroit team just never won the World Series. Because oh my God, those guys are still good 10 years later.
Yeah, no, they had Mickey Cabrera there, right? So I mean,
Miggy, Prince Fielder, Johnny Peralta. They had a really good team. Curtis Granderson.
Yeah, how did they not win more? Like, what was that bullpen that bad? Was the rest of their rotation that bad behind those guys that they couldn't win?
They also had Rick Porcello. I was watching a video about them recently about their owner, and it's insane how bad things went and how quickly things went. Because they spent a lot of money, they just spent it on the wrong guys.
Yep.
But we talked about how great we were this season. I am going to give to you guys what I believe. Tommy, I would like your opinion on what I would call the 10 best players of the Yankees this season.
Okay, so weekly rankings is getting replaced with a top 10 in the first half.
Yeah, for this week only. For this week only.
This week only, not the first half.
Oh yeah, not overall, not overall. No, it's gonna be for the half, but just for this week. I'm gonna go back to the weekly next week. I just wanted to really just recap the entire season for these guys fresh off the
All-Star break. I like that. A list of the top 10 Yankees up to this point.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So number 10.
Joe, get ready if you're watching.
Joe, get ready. I'll be ready to field your questions. In the
man, chat. I don't even want Chris. I ain't gonna lie to you, buddy. I don't even know if I want to see this.
Tommy, you want to see this? Because number 10, I got our catcher, our all-star, Jose Trevino.
Okay.
Has he slowed down since his great hot start where he was doing everything for this team? Yes. But at the end of the day, he's better than we thought. He's become our everyday guy over Higashioka. He's hitting 250. He's got a 714 OPS, and he's third in the league in catcher's WAR. I believe he's behind Alejandro Kirk and Jonah Heim. And he's also he's the best framer in the game. He's the guy that steals the most strikes in baseball. And again, when we have asked him to, he has come up clutch. I know it only says 27 RBIs, but he's got 2 walk-offs in there, and he's been able to get on base and really been that guy that kind of came out of nowhere. He was a guy that was kind of just thrown in as a backup, and he's taken over the starting job of Higashioka, and he's just been outstanding this year.
Agree.
Number 9, we got the machine, DJ LeMahieu. He's a guy that has just been the Mr. Reliable when it came to, do we need him at third base tonight? Throw him there. Do we need him at short tonight? Throw him there. Second, throw him there. He's not the guy that he was in Colorado, where he was hitting 310 and doing everything that he was even doing in his early days in pinstripes. But he has definitely recovered since last year, where he looked kind of cooked. And right now, he's hitting 280. He had the home run today. He strikes out less than he walks. He doesn't chase pitches. He knows how to get on base. And he's had his best WRC plus season since 2019, when he was an MVP caliber player in a lot of people's eyes. So I think DJ LeMahieu has been that guy for that we've asked him to be this year. And I think he's been kind of underrated and overshadowed just by how good the rest of the team has been this year. Then we got number 8, a guy that we kind of wrote off. You know, he was trade bait, but he's back. Gleyber Torres has been outstanding this year when we all wanted him traded at the end of last year. Gleyber Torres has just absolutely cemented himself as the second baseman of this team. After, you know, a couple years at shortstop where he was looking kind of rough, we move him back to second base, and he has just found that flame again. He's hitting 270. He's got an 809 OPS. He's got 14 home runs, which, you know, he only had 12 in 2019 and 2020 2021 and 2020 combined. And he's already got 41 RBIs. He had 68 in that span as well, in that 2020 to 2021 span. And again, he's just been a reliable guy. He's got a couple of clutch hits this year. And he's a guy that's been kind of getting on base. He's got like 18 doubles on the year. He's been absolutely outstanding for a guy that we wanted pretty much gone by the end of last year. We wanted him, Hicks, Sanchez. We wanted those guys gone. And Gleyber Torres has just been that reliable guy at second base that we kind of, that his draft prospects were kind of like touting. So Gleyber Torres, I think, has been the 8th best player on this Yankees team this year. Number 7, his averages may not show it, but I think Anthony Rizzo is another guy that we kind of saw as a consolation prize, but has been the guy that has been Mr. Reliable at first base. He is a guy that has played a majority of Yordan Alvarez just hit a home run. You got,
of course he did.
Yep. You got Anthony Rizzo, who's been the everyday first baseman, and he's been that guy. June Rizzo was great. The league was not ready for him, and he's got 57 RBIs and 22 home runs. He's got the second best OPS plus for everyday Yankees at 139, behind Judge, who has 177. So it's kind of wild to think that we wanted Freddie Freeman and Matt Olson, and we kind of just overlooked that Rizzo was here. Hell, I knew people at the beginning of the season that were saying that Luke Voit was the better option. And while I love Luke Voit, I love Nuke, but he was not that guy. And Anthony Rizzo has just shown out this year and proven that he still has that Chicago, that prime 2016 Chicago. Then you got number 6. I got Michael King. This is a bad picture. Sorry about that, guys. But that's Michael King. If you can, squint and like shake your head a little bit. Michael King is a guy that we called up, last season. He pitched a few innings for us. And this year, if you look outside of today, he's just been that reliable guy to get, 2-3 innings in the books without allowing too much damage to happen. He's pitched 49 innings this year, 50 again with tonight. With earlier today, a 2.1 ERA. He's got 64 strikeouts and a 4.3 strikeout to walk ratio. So he just knows how to get guys out. He's got some nasty stuff. He's got some crazy velocity, and he's got ridiculous like drops on his sliders and his slurves and his curveballs. So Michael King, I feel like, has been one of the more reliable pitchers in baseball, honestly. If you look at his reference WAR, I believe he would have been an all-star because he was top 10 in R WAR and F WAR for relief pitching. But he kind of got overlooked by one of his teammates, and rightfully so. We'll talk about him. And Alex Bregman just hit a home run.
That's great. I told you. Hold on, before you go any further, what did I say about putting in Armand against this lineup as his first game back?
Cooked. Yep.
Bad idea.
I agree.
Why get him rocked, and then his confidence is low now? Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off, buddy, but I just had to throw that in there because I said it before the game started. Don't Armand his first game back against this team.
Yeah. I completely agreed with you. Like, putting him against this really, really good Houston team was questionable. But we kind of needed that guy with Severino out. It's just we can't beat Houston. It's just we can't do it. But back to it. We got number 5, Giancarlo Stanton. Our All-Star Game MVP and the guy that clinched home field advantage for us in the World Series this year. Don't at me. He's got 24 home runs, 61 RBIs. At one point during the season, he was hitting around 300. He's kind of fallen back down to around the 240 range. But with the amount of pop that was in his bat and that run that he had towards the end of the first half of the season going into the All-Star break where he was hitting 132, but he had like 8 home runs. 8 of his 11 hits were home runs. And he just still has that pop in the bat. He's always dangerous in the box. And he's been able to stay healthy. The thing that kind of has plagued Giancarlo Stanton, and the reason he got a lot of hate from the Yankees fans, at least that I know, was that he was a guy that was getting overpaid to be on the bench and really not do much for his major contract. But he's played the field, he's stayed healthy, and he's back to that Miami, a little less than that Miami form where he hit 59 home runs. But he's still a reliable guy. He's usually our cleanup guy. And I actually think he's gonna have a sneaky good second half of the year with what we got coming up. I think he just needs more field time, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
And then we got number 4. We got another one of our all-stars. We got Nasty Nestor. 7-3, a 2.63 ERA in 95 innings, and he's got the best ERA plus in the Yankees 5-man rotation, and only is allowing 1 walk/hit per inning. He was an all-star for a reason, and if I talked about guys that came out of nowhere this year and bounced back this year, like Trevino, LeMahieu, Torres, and King. Nestor is a guy that absolutely nobody saw coming. He was a journeyman pitcher that kind of didn't fit in anywhere. He comes to the Yankees last year, struggles a little bit, bounces back towards the second half in the bullpen, and now he was in the All-Star game. And it's a great story. He's a great guy, and I think
great story.
I think if he can keep around a 3 ERA for the rest of the year, if he could stay around that range. He's still got some nasty stuff. We call him Nasty Nestor for a reason. His funky pitching style. He's hard to read. And I think Nestor, based on the strength of, the first, I'd say 65, 70% of the year, struggled a bit in the last 20% so far. I think he deserves to be a top 5 player recognized on this team.
I agree with you 100%. Nestor's been huge. A guy who wasn't on a team. And now look at him. I know he started off great. Hasn't been great lately, but he's still good.
Absolutely. Now we got our top 3. And it's been my top 3 pretty much the whole season, and that's not going to change. It's kind of just moved up and down a bit. But for number 3, I have the closer, Clay Holmes. And he's a guy that we got from Pittsburgh last year, kind of just thrown in there, and he has just completely reinvented himself on this Yankees team. 41 innings, a 1.3 ERA. Most of the year that was under 1 when it came to ERA. 44 strikeouts and 16 saves, a 2.93 ERA plus, and only a 2 FIP. He's just been outstanding. He's another guy that kind of just earned his all-star spot this year, and he was looking like the best relief pitcher in the game earlier in the year, and he still might be one of the best closers in baseball. We're gonna have to see how he continues over the next half of the season, the last 60 games. But Clay Holmes is in at number 3 for me. And I think, if he was playing with anybody other than the number 1 and number 2 guys, he might be number 1 on a lot of teams. But number 2, I have Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole has just been outstanding this year. He does have a couple of bad starts. Those first 3 were rough, and he had the really rough game in what was it, Minnesota, I believe. It was either Cleveland or Minnesota. It was Minnesota because Buxton took him deep, and he allowed like 3 straight home runs.
It was definitely Minnesota. I remember that game like it was yesterday.
Yeah, other than that, Garrett Cole has just been phenomenal. He's second in baseball in strikeouts. He's got 147 strikeouts in under 115 innings. He's just been absolutely outstanding for the team. He's been the ace. And, he's still a Cy Young candidate, and he's got just over a 3 ERA. It was under 3 for a lot of the year. Devers kind of knocked him up in that game in Boston, but other than that, he pitched well there, and then he ended up having a phenomenal performance to close out the first half of the season against Boston at Yankee Stadium. So I think Garrett Cole has been the second best player on this team all year. But do I even need to tell you guys who number 1 is? Like, it's him. It's our guy. It's the guy that we should have paid at the beginning of the year. It's the guy we should have paid last year. It's the guy that we need to pay at some point this year. Aaron Judge. You guys have told me, he's slumping. When I called Aaron Judge the best player in baseball, when he was taking Boston yard twice, you were like, oh, look at the last month. He's still the best player on this team, bar none. He is, even with his struggles and slumps, he's hitting 284. Even with his struggles and his slumps, he's still near a 1.0 OPS. He's the league leader in home runs and total bases. He is transitioned flawlessly from right field to center field. He's just been that guy that we need on this team, and there's nobody that you can tell me is better than him on this Yankees team. I am not hearing any arguments. So that is my top 10 players of the first half of the season. I'm going to have it scrolling on the bottom of the screen for you guys while we talk about it. Tommy, what do you think? You're muted, Tommy. You're muted.
How about now?
There you go. We got you, buddy.
I don't understand what's going on. I don't get it. All right, sorry guys. I don't know what's going on with my phone today. Actually, probably one of the lists that I actually believe is probably the best one you made. Good job, buddy. Not that your lists aren't good when you post them. I will say, Judge clearly won. I would probably put Holmes 2 over Cole.
Okay.
Only because of how dominant Holmes has been. Like, he saved a lot of games for us when we didn't have a closer because Chapman was ineffective and then hurt. So I think Holmes 2, Cole. Listen, gotta be the number 1 starting pitcher for us. So that puts him at 3.
I had Nestor at 4, Stanton at 5.
Yeah, Nestor at 4 and 5. You can flop them or you can keep them where they're at. Nestor, even though Nestor has a tough last couple outings, he's still overall been way better than we could ever ask for. Stanton, yes, only batting like 240 right now. I expect that to be around 270 when the year's all said and done. Michael King's been great. Rizzo's only batting 225, but has 20-something home runs. I might have put Glaber. You know what? Glaber could be 8. That's not a bad thing. LeMahieu's been not as good as he's had been in the past with us, but he's still good. And Trevino, even though he's been great, he has to be that far back because there's too many good guys on our team.
All right. Do you think
Trevino
could
be higher? But
do you think I snubbed anybody?
Did I think you snubbed anybody? Let's go by position player.
I was thinking Wandy Peralta, and hell, I was thinking Matt Carpenter with just how great he's been, but he just hasn't played
Yeah,
the amount of games where I
if you
think
look, if you look, yes, I agree. Hasn't played enough games. And if you look at your list, who's Carpenter going to replace?
true,
Right.
true.
Wandy Peralta has been really good, but once again, is he better than Michael King? No. Is he better than? Is he more important than having Trevino on our team, who's settled down the rotation and been a good bat for us at the catch position? No. Is he better than Rizzo, who has 22 home runs and 55 RBIs? No.
And
So
been a stud
overall,
at
man,
first base all year.
solid list. Yeah, and has exactly. I think your list is pretty good. I don't think anybody's been snubbed. Very good job on the top 10. I think Joe will be very happy with your top 10.
Joe's gonna want Michael Carpenter as top 1. He's gonna want Jameson Taillon at 2. He's gonna have a problem with something. He's gonna tell me Aaron Judge isn't the best player on this team, and that's why he's not on the podcast.
If he says that. Well, listen, man, great list.
We love you, Joe.
Joe, we love you, buddy. Nothing against you. But yeah, I think it was like really, really good list, man. Good job. I know, took you a while to make it, so on another great show. I know we're down right now. Hopefully we can come back. Let's show up against the Mets. And then he's love to say let's go because I would like to go 7-3, but 6-4 is my number. We'll obviously have most of this figured out by next Thursday when we do our next show, and we'll have an idea what we've been on this road trip, and then a couple games at home.
Absolutely, man. And like you said, great episode. Great to be back. Hopefully we don't miss any more time because I love doing this with you guys. Guys in the comment section.
Same here, man.
Go ahead, Tommy. I'll close this out in a sec.
No. I was just saying, I apologize for missing some time as well. I had some personal stuff. Everything's getting a little bit better here. So God bless my family. With some cousins and cousins and aunt going through some stuff. It's been a little bit tough lately, so I just want to say I love them and God bless. Hope everything's all right. I miss doing this with you guys. I know last week was tough and some other time that we missed, but I'm looking forward to next Thursday already. Let's get back on track. Let's start tearing this show up. Guys, once again, we always ask any questions. Please feel free to write in the comment box so me and Chris can go ahead and answer, guys. Any questions you have, any thoughts you have, any scenarios, whether trades or moves to be made, or how do you think this is going to play out, or how this is going to play out. We love their interaction. So please, feel free to write whatever you want down there. We'll get, we'll answer as much as we can.
Yeah, that perfectly said. The best part of us being live is that live interaction that we get with you guys. And, we love answering your guys' questions. Sure. We love seeing the comments. And, another great show. We will be back next week, next Thursday, 6 p.m., as we are every week, when everything's going right, when everything's firing on all cylinders. But another great show, episode 8 in the books. Tommy, anything to leave us off on?
Let's figure out how to beat Houston. That's all.
Yes, let's do that. Let's not give up 2 home runs in the first inning. Well, thank you guys. We will be back next week. Have a good one, guys.